Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Masonry Strong Podcast. Today, I'm joined by James Hoskinson. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome. So, where does your history with Masonry start? How did you get into it?
So when I was in high school, I took a machine shop in a vocational school and thought I wanted to be a machinist. And then after my senior year, I wasn't for sure if I wanted to do that. So a buddy of mine happened to be working at Lang Masonry at the time, back in '98, and I put an application in, got hired September 21st of 1998 as a laborer, and fell in love with it. It was something where I was just going to make some money through the summer and then maybe go back to college and get more of a degree. But I fell in love with masonry. Like I mentioned, I started out as a laborer and then worked my way up to being an operator, and then had on-site training to be a mason. You start out just spreading mortar, striking, and then you start laying. And then in 2004, I'd moved up the ladder far enough to become a superintendent.
Nice.
So I started running work for Damien with Lang Masonry. And in January of 2013, he asked me to come into the office as a project manager. And it was scary for the simple fact that going through the operating portion of it, and mason and superintendent, I could see what the guys did. You don't see what the office does. Everyone thinks they twiddle their thumbs. So it was nervous, but nevertheless, I took that position. And then in January of 2015, Damien made me the president of Lang Masonry and part owner of the company.
That's awesome.
So from there, it was like, okay, I'm tied in for life. You've got to really love it now, but I've been at it for 17 years and was really enjoying it. Along the way, we started to go into restoration, and we needed that expert. So in 2018, we got a hold of Bob Brown, and he's with Buckeye Construction and Restoration, and we merged together, and Lang Masonry become a majority owner of BCR in 2018. So then I was helping Bob move his company in the right direction. Then in 2020, we started Lang Masonry, started 3PLS, the labor service company that's part of the MCA. So we started that company, and it started to take away some of my time away from being the president of Lang Masonry, dealing with BCR and 3PLS. Well, in March of 2022, we purchased JVS Masonry out of Denver, Colorado. Now I was really taking a lot of my time away. So in April of 2022, we started a company called Lang Masonry Group, which I become the president of, and Luke Cardling become the president of Lang Masonry. At that point, I was overseeing Luke and Lang Masonry, BCR, and Bob, Alex with 3PLS, and then the guy's name was Jerry at the time for JVS. Well, in 2023, January of 2023, we partnered up with Buckner and Sons Masonry, and they're a minority company out of Columbus, Ohio. So that's where the position and the company come from. Lang Masonry Group is, so currently there's 5 companies Mason companies that I'm overseeing.
Wow.
So that's been my journey. So it's 26 years is my anniversary come September this year.
That's awesome. So when you started, working with your friend on masonry job sites, just as, to make money in the summer, you didn't fully plan on following that as a career path?
No, did not. Started out at $7 an hour, and of course back then minimum wage was $5.15, so it was better. But it just fell in love with the when they got done with a project, you could see the project, and it was very rewarding. And then watching the masons, it's such an artistic work where they're laying the brick in the block, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
That's awesome. And I know you're a huge advocate and cheerleader for the MCAA. You love the MCAA. You come by the booth every year at World of Concrete all the time, hang out with Todd. I was there, man in the booth. I met you there last year. What is it about the association that you love so much?
It's keeping masonry alive is the biggest part that I like about it, for the simple fact that this is the only thing I know, so it's got to stay there. But the helping hand that the MCAA does for everybody, whether you're union, non-union, a supplier, a contractor, just the support and everything that they offer is huge. And there's not too many organizations out there that are so active with their members. Some of them, you pay the dues and you attend something once a year, and that's it. You're part of something. You're really part of a big family with the MCAA. Everyone is willing to help no matter who they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. And outside of all the stuff you do and all those companies that you're a part of, what do you like to do on your free time?
Well, on the free time, I still have one child that's still at the house. She's a sophomore, so she keeps me busy with volleyball and softball throughout the year. My wife and I, we like to go golfing. We like to take a lot of trips. We're beach people, so if there's sun and sand, that's where we want to be at. We have side-by-sides, so we like the outdoors, so we'll go riding around in there. And boating is also one of the biggest things we do.
Awesome. Where do you guys go boating at? Do you guys have a lake that you love?
So down in Cincinnati, there's Lake Winoka. That we have a friend that has a place down there that we go boating. I did have a boat for a couple years, and there's the Muskingum River that's down there in Morgan County where I live, and so we used to go out on that quite a bit. So now it's kind of using buddies' boats instead of your own.
Yeah. Just kind of going back to masonry, when you started as a teenager, did you always have a good work ethic, or did masonry really help build that?
Well, masonry helped some, but I would have to say my work ethic come from, I worked on the farm, and so an old farmer, listen to an old farmer gripe about shoveling manure or making sure that you're raking the hay properly or taking the bales off the field or even throwing the square bales. They are a lot like the old bricklayers, so they helped train me to that, and then I owe a lot to my parents with instilling that hard work ethic into me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what are some traits that you think every mason should have in order to be a successful and determined mason?
Pride.
Pride.
Pride would be the number one. You've got to take pride in what you do. Don't come there for a paycheck. Take pride in what you're doing. Realize the big picture of what you're doing is you're building a school for the future kids, or you're building a library or anything of that nature. You're helping people out in the sense that without these buildings, they couldn't have more jobs for people to have. So taking a lot of pride in what you're doing is one of the biggest ones, and willing to learn. And you know, it's not always going to be your way. Follow the prints that the architect has put out there for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you like working with architects? Is that something, are those some people that you enjoy working with, or
Love working with architects.
What about it?
And matter of fact, my daughter, that's what she's studying to
really?
be, is
That's
an
awesome.
architect or an architect. Architect. So with them, they are very intelligent. And sometimes they don't get out in the field and they don't see the real life of things. So I love working with them to help show them, hey, listen, you know, sometimes this square block doesn't turn real sharp. You're going to have to go somewhere different. But anything that I could do to help educate them to keep masonry in their buildings, that's what I love to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And working with Damien, I interviewed him yesterday. Super nice guy. My first time meeting him, amazing guy. Has working with him kind of helped you figure out things about yourself that you didn't know? You know, maybe you realize like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I had that in me.
Leadership skills.
Yeah.
Damien is huge on self-development, leadership skills, never stop training. learning what you need. He is probably the one that does the most training out of all 800 employees that he has. He probably does the most training, but it's constant improvement, constant improvement. It don't have to be huge, but just constantly getting educated and moving forward, which helps out being part of the MCAA.
Yeah. And getting into masonry when you first got into it, was it exactly what you expected? Was there a lot more into it than you expected?
There's a lot more
Yeah.
into it. I mean, when I got into it, it was like I can carry blocks. I've carried square bales, so
Yeah.
shoveling mortar and dealing with people. But once you get into it, and then seeing how everything has changed over the years of all the great technology and flashings and ties and things that they've put into the buildings, such an improvement. When you look at a brick wall, you just see brick and mortar, but there is a lot of components behind there that make up a wonderful building.
Yeah, it's awesome. And to like the next generation kind of coming in, as masons, what are some things that you would recommend or say to them? These are the kind of traits that you would want to have in order to be successful, stuff like that. What would you say to the next generation?
Well, to be successful, you have to have a good work ethic. I mean, one of the biggest things we run into is people not showing up to work every day. But coming into the masonry, and some traits that you need is number one's math. And
Really?
so you need to be able to read the tape and figure out, where things are going to go, puzzle pieces. And the work ethic comes with it, and willing to be part of a team. So most people that are successful with sports make excellent bricklayers because they're used to being part of the team, and you win.
Yeah. Is it hard, or I guess what is it like, kind of explaining to a new generation mason, like it's more about teamwork than you probably expect? Because coming into it, I didn't realize how much teamwork actually goes into it.
It all starts with the mortar mixture.
Yeah.
If the mortar's not mixed properly, if the operator can't get it to the scaffold, then the laborers can't get enough materials to the masons, then the masons can't make these beautiful buildings. So it takes all aspects. So when someone doesn't show up, you got to pick up the other. You can't win a football game with 10 guys on the field. You may, but it's
Yeah.
going to be hard.
Yeah.
So you need all 11 players there to make it happen.
That's awesome. And you're actually on a committee from the MCAA. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The membership committee. So the membership committee is I'm a great people's person, and I love to share the knowledge and share the benefits that the MCAA brings to contractors. So with being on the membership committee, I want to make sure that they realize that this just isn't another organization you're paying dues to, and try to explain to them all the benefits that they're going to get. So that's where I feel that I fit best to helping out the MCAA, is bringing more people on board, especially with the amount of networking that I do, mason contractors and suppliers around the United States.
Awesome. And I'm sure you've made a lot of connections from the MCAA and supplier members, more mason contracting companies. Can you talk a little bit about your experience and networking and being here at mid-year and meeting new people? What's that like for you? Do you really enjoy that?
It's you get it from the most experienced masons that's been around forever. You get their perspective of things, and then you get the next generation that's coming in, and you get the ones in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's you get to look at, the everyone's point of view of it, and realize where it's been, where it's at, and where it's going, and that's the benefit.
From like the business side and running a business, in the masonry industry, what are some changes that you've seen since you started to now?
A huge improvement in safety, which is a plus.
Okay.
There's been more of a safety awareness of everything that goes into masonry that's there. There's been more complex buildings that need to be done, versus just a standard square box. Everyone likes to make some nice designs and make it pretty. So those are some changes, and the amount of labor saving equipment and tools that we have out there today. It's not mixing with a hoe and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a bunch of tools and equipment out there that make it a lot easier than what it was 25, 26 years ago.
Yeah. Have you found anything that works very well as far as like recruiting the new generation? Is there anything that, sticks out to your mind where it's like this just draws more people in than this thing?
So you think about it with the new generation, and you think about when you was a kid, everyone loved playing in mud.
Mhm.
So getting a trowel in their hand and letting them see how the mortar goes on to the masonry units, and then seeing what they've done, and how it looks complicated, but once they get to play with it, to see what they've done,
Mhm.
what they've built. You know, you've had the building blocks and Legos and playing with mortar or playing with mud, so you put it all together, and that's what's fun about being
Yeah.
a mason. And it's not the constant, back breaking. It's not. There's the proper way of lifting and using your body in the correct way. And even with some of the technology that's coming out here, the mule has been one of the good one, and the exoskeleton has been
Hmm.
another good one that's helped, uh, alleviate that kind of back pain that you
Yeah.
was going to have.
Going a little bit more to your journey as to where you are now, can you talk to a little bit about climbing that ladder in laying masonry and how what that experience was like for you? Was it a little bit daunting at first, or did you get the hang of it pretty fast as far as climbing that ladder?
I got the hang of it pretty fast because I asked a bunch of
Hmm.
questions, and I had very good mentors that were part of the crew that I was on, the several crews that I was on, and all the team members.
Hmm.
Everybody, like I mentioned, being a team, everybody wants every individual to win. So everyone wanted to help move me to that next level
Yeah.
if you wanted to move to that next level. So
Awesome.
that was the best part about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the mentors and everything like that. Do you have any advice, like if you were a mentor, someone came to you asking for advice as a mentor, what would you say to them? Like I'm having trouble with this, or I don't know if this is really for me. Um,
Be patient.
mhm.
Number one, they're not always, everyone learns at a different level. They're not going to catch on right away. So, number one, be patient with them, be rewarding, and be stern. So, what I mean by rewarding is don't go with the, well, no word, saying nothing is a good thing.
Yeah,
Make sure that you're coaching them along the way and telling them that they are doing a good job, but be stern and make sure that they're doing it the right way without yelling at them.
awesome.
Coaching is huge.
As we're wrapping up here, what does Masonry Strong mean to you, Haas?
Masonry Strong means that I have more than just myself and all the other team members that's part of our organizations. I have something huge that's going to continue to push to make sure masonry never dies.
Mhm.
So with the being masonry strong, it take a lot of pride in it for the simple fact that it's the oldest trade out there, clear back to the pyramids.
Yes, sir.
So masonry strong is making sure that we're the strongest industry out there, and then it keeps going.
Awesome. Well, James, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. It was awesome having you on,
Thank
and
you.
then we'll see you guys later.